Ooh, Lord.
After school lifting.
PG, the segment PG is a radius. Also, you could say PD is a radius or PC. We're just going to write one. The chord is AB. That segment, remember segments, we mark with a line without arrows. Diameter is CD. So all three of these, this is important, these three are all segments. They are not lines. And so whenever you put the bar over the top of it, it cannot have arrows. The secant is the line AB, like we just labeled. The tangent, in our case, is a line. Doesn't always happen that way. EF. And the point of tangency is point G. Okay, so AC, it's got a bar on the top of it. Tell the person next to you what is AC, please. It is a radius. Very good. Whoop. Okay, tell the person next to you what is AB. Segment AB. It is a diameter. Good. Goes all the way across the circle. It goes through the center. Talk to the person next to you. What is ray DE? It is a tangent. So it doesn't have to be a line to be a tangent, although it usually is. In our case, the tangent's a ray. It touches the circle at one point. And the last one, AE, tell the person next to you what is AE. It's line AE. That is a secant.
Secant.
Good. So I can draw in a common tangent here. That's one. Where's another? On the bottom. There are two more. Can you please find them? There are two more common tangents. Go ahead and draw them in. Garen, where are the other two?
The other two go in between the two circles.
Right. Right here. And right here. They each still touch the circle once only. And I'm going to go ahead and make these lines. So there are 4 total. How many did you guys get for the second one for B?
3.
Should be 3. 1, 2.
There's 4 on the last one.
And then 3. The one that goes to the middle still only touches each circle once. So this is 3. And then C. C actually only has 2. So you can do the 2 on the outside, which is what we've been doing. Okay, but if you draw one through the middle, how many times does it touch the circle? Twice, and so that doesn't work. So these are the only 2 that you have here, is these 2 external tangents. The first is that a tangent line not only touches at one point, it also has to be perpendicular to the radius of that point. The second is that when you have external tangents, so tangents on the outside that go to a common point, those end up being congruent. So these two pieces here, SR, would be congruent to ST. Okay. So we're going to check to see, for example 3, is it tangent? In order to be tangent, it has to touch at one point and make a 90-degree angle. So a right angle. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to check. Because if you look here, it does make a triangle. What side do you have to put for C? 37. The longest side has to go for C. What we're doing is we're checking to see if it's going to work with Pythagorean theorem. If it does, then it is a right triangle, and so this is a 90-degree angle. So 37 goes for C. And then 12 and 35 for B and A. If you don't have a calculator, grab one. So 112 squared plus 35 squared should get you 1369. What is 37 squared? 1369. So because the left equals the right, you can say yes, because it's going to make a right angle here that is a right triangle. So yes, it is tangent. So using what's called the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. This has to be a right angle because you have a tangent. And so this side across from the right angle would be C, or your hypotenuse. Right now it's split up into two pieces, so 50 and R. So how could you write it as one expression? Not 50R, what could be 50 plus R? Or you could put R plus 50, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use R plus 50 just because I like that better. So this whole piece right here is R plus 50. You add up your 2. And now we use Pythagorean theorem. We're trying to solve for R. Since we have a right triangle, we are allowed to do that using A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A and B are R and 80. So I put R squared plus 80 squared. What is C? R plus 50. R plus 50 has to go in parentheses. So R plus 50, the quantity squared. Now, please don't tell me that this is R squared plus 2500. Please don't kill any puppies. That is not what it is. You cannot distribute that. It's not R squared plus 50 squared. You can't distribute that squared. What this really is, so I'm just going to rewrite the left side. We'll deal with that in a second, is 2 of these binomials. If you think back to Algebra 1, I hope you haven't forgotten everything. It's R plus 50 twice. It's 2 of those quantities multiplied together. And if you recall from Algebra 1, when you're multiplying 2 binomials, you have to do, you can FOIL, if that helps you. First, you multiply each to each. First, outer, inner, last. So, real quick, can you guys find out first what's 80 squared? I hope you know some of us in our head. 6,400. Okay. And now we're going to multiply on the right. R times R. No. R squared. It's okay, you're rusted. Okay? R times 50. 50R. Okay, so you've distributed the r to both of the other parts. Now you have to do 50. So 50 times r, 50r. Oh, I missed an r on that one. And then last one is 50 times 50. 2,500. Okay, this looks really bad. I promise it's actually going to simplify to be a nice equation to solve here in a second. First thing you should do, though, is combine like terms. You've got 50r and 50r. We're going to 100r. Your exponents do not change when you do that. So it's r squared plus 100r plus 2,500. Okay. It's about to get a lot better. So we always want to get our variables on one side. So we could start with the r squareds. This is a positive r squared, so how would I take it away? You would subtract it. So if I subtract r squared from both sides, what's going to happen? They cancel each other out. Hooray. And so you are left with this equation, which is really not so bad. It's just a two-step equation. 100r plus 2,500. I need you to solve that equation for r, get the radius. You should get 39 for the radius. Ooh. Okay. The last question. Be a lot harder. So, last example, flip it over. It tells you that RS is a tangent and so is RT. They go out to a common point R. So these two segments are congruent, which means that you can set them equal to each other and find the value of x. Go ahead and do that, please.